All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Jupiter and his big debut into the sign of Gemini, which is going to begin on May 25th. Jupiter stays in each sign for 1 year. The last time he was in Gemini was in 2012 into 2013. So you might want to think about what was going on in your life back then. But of course, we're in a totally new place right now, 12 years, past that point. And, there's a whole new story that Jupiter is going to brew up for us over the course of the next year. And it all begins on May 25th. I think in order to understand what could potentially happen to each of us with this new Jupiter trajectory is we have to really kind of think about the sign of Gemini, because Gemini will lead the Jupiter stage, and Jupiter expands, the sign that he's traveling through. So all things Gemini are going to center. So who is Gemini? First of all, Gemini is a sign of the twins. So there is something about two, dual nature, doing two of this, you want to think about, where this dual nature might influence you. I'm thinking back to when I was in 2012 and 2013, I had two jobs, like maybe there's something too for you, in this new run. Or maybe I also am thinking about like how things are going to go, because Jupiter enters in 2024, but he doesn't exit until 2025. There is a new kind of real story brewing for us all, like something brandy spanking new that we're all going into. And maybe with this Jupiter and Gemini, you have to kind of, juggle some of the old in order to make way for the new. There could be part of that. But you are becoming more curious. Gemini is a sign that likes to ask a lot of questions. It likes to be curious. It likes to move. Traveling is going to really kind of pick up. Your desire to travel, your desire to communicate and socialize is going to pick up too, because, Gemini likes to mingle. It does have two sides to it, where there's a really social side, and then there's a side that wants to kind of be, hidden. But I think if we're talking about generalities and energies that Jupiter is going to expand, I really think he's going to expand the social side, and the side that wants us to connect, the side that is saying like COVID is totally behind us, and that, kind of anti-socialing and being antisocial is behind us, and it's time to really get social. Another thing is that Gemini is about, speaking and communicating and thinking. And so, with AI coming into play, we all know AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to ramp up. I think that there are benefits that will come out of, Gemini wanting to communicate, Gemini wanting to, AI makes it so easy, right? Like, I talk to people all the time that are telling me that they don't even write their emails anymore. They have their AI generator do it. You don't even know if what you're reading is true anymore, right? Because AI has generated it. Like, there's so much with AI and writing and information. And, I'm sure that Jupiter going into Gemini is going to expand upon the information component. And there may be a lot of information which we have to synthesize and kind of sift through. And this brings me to the point about the way Jupiter looks in Gemini, because look, I'll always love Gemini. It doesn't matter where he is. Like, he's always going to be, the lucky planet. But the truth of the matter is that he looks better in some signs than others. And in Gemini, Jupiter is in his downfall. He's not his best. And the reason for that, if you can just think about this big planet that has a lot of energy and a lot of expansiveness, and he likes to go big, and he's hanging around in a sign that can be, curious and wants to go everywhere and likes to juggle and multitask, it can get a little scattery. So I think one of the caution points of Jupiter in Gemini is absolutely be curious, absolutely explore, absolutely learn. But I think whatever you embrace and take on, like, do it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of know that you don't want to take on too much and be left with nothing in the end, right? Because there is that kind of, you want to do everything because it's so exciting, and that could burn you. So be careful. And, Jupiter is expansive. He can, really kind of make us pay attention to things in a shadowy way, and every sign does have its shadows. And Gemini is a little trickster, and Gemini likes to, kind of fool us sometimes. It loves to laugh. On one hand, we could be so social and have fun laughing. On the other hand, it's like, you don't want the joke to be on you, right? Like, it's just important to think about the light and the dark of the sign, because Jupiter does expand on both sides. He doesn't just pick the good side. He goes into the bad side too. I think when we get to August and Jupiter is going to be in square with Saturn, that's going to be like a really important check-in as to what our limitations are with Jupiter, because he's going to be, in a square with Saturn, and Saturn is the great restrictor. Saturn is the opposite of Jupiter. Like, Jupiter wants to dream big and shoot for the stars, and Saturn's like, no, you're not going to do that. So we'll see what he brings in August. That's still a ways away. And I don't want to kill the optimism of Jupiter and Gemini, because I think Jupiter making a sign change is always exciting. And it always delivers a new place for all of us to feel expansive and to expand a different part of our life. And again, I think if you have your, memory hat on, or put it on at some point as you process this video, think about what were you doing in 2012, 2013? Like, that's going to be a huge sign for you into what you might now do next as Jupiter comes back in. And he only stays in each sign for, he stays in for 1 year, but he only comes into each sign every 12 years. So there's really something, that only comes around every 12 years for all of us. That's on the horizon, that's coming in. So again, let's just kind of think about the takeaways from this, important shift. And to be honest with you, right as Jupiter goes into Gemini, like, I feel like things are really good. And one of my most favorite times of the year is the end of May into early June. And that is stemming off of Jupiter, the big guy, working really beautifully with Pluto, the planet of innovation, the planet, he's very innovative right now because he's in Aquarius, which is very innovative. But Pluto is the planet of power and powerlessness. And with Jupiter working really well with Pluto, it's really kind of showcasing how our transformations are going, like, in a beneficial way, like in a powerful way. So another kind of time frame to check in and see, like, how you're doing with this expansive energy. Another thing is that, as Jupiter picks up speed, he is going to really push us to be more curious. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to take another certification. Maybe you want to, find somebody to talk about your thoughts with. Maybe you want to, kind of mingle, go and, Jupiter's like the hummingbird. When I wrote my 2024 forecast, and I'm going to show it to you here. This is my working copy, the one I always use. I put a hummingbird on the cover. And the reason I put the hummingbird on the cover was because of my thoughts on Jupiter and Gemini. Gemini is like the hummingbird. It likes to go places. It likes to move. It likes to be quick. It doesn't want to hang out somewhere too long. It gets bored easily. It's spontaneous. I think that all of these things are going to be expanded upon, and we're going to feel them. And I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a good thing for our collective. I think it's a good thing for relationships. I think it's a good thing for, where you want to take yourself professionally, in order to learn, in order to experiment, in order to explore. I think it's a good thing for travel. Like, I love travel. Those of you that have been with me for a while, you know I go all around, and I like to go far. Like, I love to travel. I love to go and explore new places. And even if you're not quite the adventurer like I am, you still can take advantage of this, movable energy and really, really, explore maybe your local terrain, or, explore different thought processes with talking to different people. I think that there's a lot left to explore, and a lot more, places for us to, wing ourselves to go. So I'm excited about it. I hope that you are too. I have outlined where Jupiter and Gemini is going to influence all of us. And I also want you to take advantage of it. So maybe there's a, dual kind of taking advantage of it with the dual nature of Gemini. But go after it, grab it, make it a great, kind of time for yourself, and lean into all things Gemini. All right, everybody. Till next time. Bye-bye.